Ladies and gentlemen, it is with a palpable sense of privilege that I now request Admiral R. Hari Kumar, the Chief of Naval Staff, to deliver his commemorative remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to the Admiral.
Honorable Vice President of Bharat, Shri Jagdeep Dhankarji, Admiral Karambir Singh, Chairman NMF, senior delegates from friendly foreign countries, our Chief of Personnel, flag officers, distinguished dignitaries, officers, sailors, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you for participating in this 2023 edition of the Indo-Pacific Regional Dialogue and for sharing your time, insights, and ideas. It's indeed a matter of great honor to have the Honorable Vice President amongst us today, and I'm very grateful to him for having taken time out from his extremely busy schedule to grace this occasion. Maritime outreach and cooperation are key enablers for like-minded nations to work together with common purpose towards collective growth and prosperity. The Honorable Vice President's presence here is apt recognition of the significance attached to the IPRD initiative, driving conversations and partnerships. So conversations such as these are critical to solving the challenges that we collectively face in the region. And in my opinion, there is no better place than Delhi to do this. New Delhi is a fascinating confluence of culture, cuisine, and chronicles. And we are now adding conversations to this mix as we get together to exchange ideas and thoughts. And our knowledge partner, the National Maritime Foundation, are most enthused with this opportunity to interact with friends and partners from across the Indo-Pacific on key issues that the region collectively faces. So the theme of the seminar, Geopolitical Impacts upon the Indo-Pacific Maritime Trade and Connectivity, is a subject that highlights the multifaceted linkages between all the 7 pillars of the Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative, IPOI, including maritime security and trade connectivity and maritime transport. So while the IPOI provides first-order specificity to a country's maritime policy guided by the Sagar vision, this edition of the IPRD seeks to identify second-order specificities that could enable the Indo-Pacific region to remain safe, stable, and secure. So when we speak of the geographical definition of the Indo-Pacific, there are varying interpretations. For Bharat, it extends from the eastern shores of Africa to the western shores of America. For the US, it stretches from the Pacific coastline to the Indian Ocean. But in my opinion, boundaries are not that important when it comes to defining the Indo-Pacific. Notwithstanding the boundaries, the region has remained an expression that defines the contemporary geostrategic world, with Bharat being privileged to be at the core of this defining idea of our times. And as far as the theme of the dialogue is concerned, I will use a few statistics to underscore the significance of trade and connectivity in the region. Indo-Pacific has some of the world's most important lanes, with the trade passing through choke points such as the Lombok, Sunda, Malacca, Dondra Head, Gulf of Aden, Hormuz, etc. Indian Ocean remains the oldest traveled ocean, dating over 5,000 years ago, recording the first transportation over the Indian Ocean. And the Pacific Ocean remains the next one, the next oldest traveled one, dating as far back as 2,000 years ago. Further, 9 of the 10 busiest ports in the world are in the Indo-Pacific, and in terms of economics, 7 of the top 10 export destinations are in the Indo-Pacific. But how the global trade transits through the maritime trade routes in the region. Not just trade, This region is also the world's most biodiverse area, with about 3,000 species of shallow marine fish, about 1/3 of the global share. The Indo-Malay Philippines archipelago is believed to host maximum quantum of the world's marine biodiversity. So it is owing to these natural and human resources, along with its unique maritime geography, that the region has and will continue to drive global growth and prosperity. Additionally, this region, being the most militarized in the world, further exacerbates the probability of ongoing competition becoming a conflict. More than 50 extra-regional warships of extra-regional forces remain deployed in the Indian Ocean region for various missions, including for anti-piracy patrol of the Gulf of Aden, and the wider Indo-Pacific also has significant naval presence. So owing to the increased presence of multinational forces and differing interpretations of international laws, there is this fear that the region's global commons can change into contested seas. This contestation of the sea can have adverse consequences for security, physical, social, as well as economic. And to put things in perspective, I will cite two recent incidents during which trade and connectivity at sea was hampered. First, the blockage of the Suez Canal by MV Ever Given in 2021. Though it was not an outcome of a military contestation or conflict, it was an accident or a navigational incident. This incident is a stark reminder of how economic security could be threatened by a small incident. The Suez Canal, 193 km long, reduces the travel distance between Europe and Asia by nearly 6,500 kilometers. And it caters for 12% of the global trade, allows transit of over 1 million barrels of oil every day, and contributes to 2% of Egypt's GDP. So this incident, which lasted a mere 6 days, resulted in about 450 ships waiting to transit the canal, and an estimated economic loss of $60 billion to the global economy, which is more than the individual GDPs of approximately 120 countries. So while the numbers may seem huge, what was even more worrying was the fact that a prolonged blockage could have led to shortages of finished goods across Europe, spikes in sea freight due to lesser container availability, all this resulting in global economic and social insecurity. And that brings me to the second incident, the disruption of Black Sea shipping lanes during the ongoing conflict in Europe. This conflict has disturbed the grain exports from Russia and Ukraine, which together provide 30% wheat, 75% sunflower oil, and 20% maize of the world's supply. So this sparked global panic, particularly in North Africa and the Middle East, which rely on grain imports from the region. So the World Food Programme stated that the food security in the region has grown increasingly precarious, with 9 countries under moderate or high risk of serious hunger. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what a disruption, leave apart a complete blockade, could cause to the world and to the world economy. So the fragile security situation in the South China Sea, where a growing number of instances of bullying of smaller navies, including the fishermen by the Chinese militia or the CCP Navy, in addition to almost weekly happening of unsafe maneuvers or violation of established code of conduct or confidence building measures by ships and aircraft, poses a clear and present danger to good order and discipline at sea. So, but while these fissures will continue to exist, the seas will remain a common binder for all of us to work together. So as the saying goes, the seas unite, they don't divide, and there is a natural tendency for nations to engage and collaborate in the maritime domain. Yet, matters maritime do not assure global consensus. The vastness and open nature of the oceans present concurrent challenges and opportunities. So opportunities straddle multiple sectors like trade, energy, fisheries, mineral extraction, and so on. And simply, the challenges are also spread across an expansive spectrum. And many of these manifest as threats which are transnational and thus simultaneously affect all of us. They are called problems without passports. There are no borders, they cross over, and they present the same dilemma to all of us. So at the same time, given that resources will never be unlimited, it is virtually impossible for any single nation to ensure security and stability in the maritime domain by itself. The solution thus lie in working through a cooperative or collaborative system alongside like-minded maritime nations with a commonality and convergence of purpose. So this, to my mind, is no longer merely desirable but essential. So as far as Bharatiya Nausena is concerned, we have prioritized certain elements in our effort to play a more constructive role toward ensuring maritime connectivity across the region. So I will outline three such elements. The first is to support harnessing of the multitude of competencies that are resident amongst each one of our navies or maritime security agencies. To this end, we have prioritized creation of a participative and inclusive ecosystem for everyone to participate as equal partners while tackling common maritime challenges. The recently concluded Goa Maritime Conclave, where 12 navies and coast guards of our immediate neighborhood got together to discuss a mitigating framework for achieving our common maritime priorities. And that's a case in point of how we can cooperate in smaller groups. The second aspect is engaging partner nations to develop interoperability and trust. Trust, as we all know, cannot be searched or it cannot be built in a day, in a week, or even a month. We understand that building trust requires sustained and continued engagement between friends. So initiatives like the IPRD, the Goa Maritime Conclave, are all aimed at fostering such trust. So when we meet, interact, discuss, work and operate together, we not only learn from each other, but also develop trust. The third element, the third and the final element I would discuss today is focusing on the persistent problems faced by the regional navies and the regional nations on a day-to-day basis. So addressing these problems together make the multilateral constructs more output-oriented, rules-based, global commons by collaborating with like-minded nations, many of them who are present here. We are traversing now through a contested present into an uncertain future. The future of global commons hinges on cooperative effort of nations. We can accomplish prosperity, security and growth for all only if we collaborate in the maritime domain. So this collaboration must be evolved through mutual understanding of opportunities and challenges. I firmly believe that the world is necessarily a maritime community in a larger sense, and oceans are our common heritage as well as destiny. So in this endeavor, therefore, all of us have a very key role to play. I would like to conclude by taking the liberty to quote our Honorable Vice President at the recent Chanakya Defense Dialogue, where he said that peace is not an option, it is the only way. Its disruption leads to human misery and global challenges. There is a need, therefore, to seek peace at all costs through ideation, advocacy, outreach, persuasion, and dialogues, unquote. So this quote also aptly summarizes the spirit of IPRD 2023. So I thank the National Maritime Foundation for organizing this dialogue and the Ministry of Defence for their support in this endeavour. I thank the Honourable Vice President once again for taking time off to grace this occasion. I am sure that the seminar will be of immense value to all participants and audience alike and will provide avenues for furthering maritime cooperation. So thank you all for your time. Jai Bharat.